enjoy the show, play on Perjangers.
Welcome, one and all to another Mattcast. We are just off the Christmas holiday here at the Perjangers house of Perjangers. Fun holiday had by all. A lot of good times, good stuff happening here. We got, been watching a lot of stuff here. I was actually just finishing up the season finale. I think I got about like almost all the way. I got like 7 minutes left of Tangananki. Great season. That was one of the Tangananki was one of those seasons that got 24 episodes, so you got a lot of character building in here, and they had a nice little story. You know, you got to pay attention, looking just so you can figure out who the hell's talking to who and what. But it's a nice one to have in there. Another one I've been watching that I really loved. I want to look down on this list here. Campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. Finished another season on that one. One of the most ridiculous. Absolutely. That's why I credit the mascots in the end credits, if you ever notice, because they always pipe up in the background. But you could see a lot with the Tangananki. You could see a lot of the character building. See the campfire cooking rather with that one. Second season, building it up nice. You had a red dragon join him in this season, and you got a lot of different kinds of new recipes and absurdly in OP demons getting dragons getting taken down easily by his little motley crew because they want to eat it. So kind of like on that Delicious in Dungeon, that kind of food anime. We're going to make it funny and have a good enough story that we want to keep you in there. So if you're in the holiday stretch here and you need something to just watch that's kind of fun, I would recommend Campfire Cooking in Another World. That one's awesome. A good food anime is, that's something that's few and far between, but you don't really see them. Sometimes you get into food wars, and that is just borderline hentai. I don't think I've ever eaten something and felt like my clothes exploded off my body. They get a little bit absurd once you go into some of the animes there. But Campfire Cooking, nice, wholesome. You could sit down and watch that one with your kids. Real fun one. A Gatherer's Adventure in Isekai. Once again, your boy loves a good Isekai. I think that they're a fun little premise, and if you don't know what an Isekai anime is, it's not hentai. Isekai is the premises. You have some guy, probably in his 30s or 40s. Hello. They get summoned and or killed off into another world, and you get magical powers. That's why I say if I die and get reincarnated, I better get some fucking magical powers. I don't want to be in another world where I'm a wizard or some shit, because I've watched way too many anime for that. But that one's cool because it's just this guy. He's got a gathering skill, and it ends up being how do I get overpowered is I get here with that. So that was one that was pretty cool. I know I was watching something here that was in the Record of Ragnarok was good, but that one, once again, the fighting anime, not really. It's not that it's not good. It's the fighting anime. You're really in it for the animation. The story is just a reason to fight this week. So it's not that it's bad, but it's passable. If you're looking for something to pass the time out there, nothing says it like that. So just some stuff that I've been watching out there. A lot of little anime stuff. Nothing really impressive coming out of Marvel or DC. Not yet. Supergirl is coming up in the year. I mean, overall, since we are at a year's end, I mean, this is like the Mattcast for Christmas and New Year's. I'm working on other kinds of, entertainment for the rest of the year. So it's going to be my last podcast for the year. So we'll do that. But for the year, I mean, if you're looking at good content to watch, if you haven't watched Superman, James Gunn's Superman, I would recommend watching that. It's not bad because watch Superman, watch Peacemaker. James Gunn is going to get his chance because Netflix is getting WB, and they are not going to let go. I'm telling you. When you get like Paramount to say, oh yeah, hostile takeover bid, 108 cash, and Netflix goes, they're not going to do it. WB, they were like, oh, that's so nice. We reject your hostile takeover bid. No, thank you. We'll stay with Netflix. Thanks. Better time next time, Slugger. So I didn't know you could just reject a hostile takeover. That kind of makes it less hostile, though, doesn't it? You know, kind of a polite, well, would you mind? But good to Netflix for getting Warner Brothers. I mean, just strengthens that reason why I have a fucking Netflix account. You know what I mean? Whoo. They got to put something on there. I mean, they added Lara Croft Tomb Raider. They do add some anime on there. It's just I pay for Crunchyroll, so a lot of the stuff I'll just watch on Crunchyroll. You can watch Tengen Enki on Netflix too. So there are some, especially like Dr. Stone. That one finished up this year. Fantastic run. All the way through. Actually, I thought it finished this year. They got another fucking arc starting in 2026. So maybe it'll finish next year. The goddamn show that never ends. Like somebody watched Land Chop too much. But here in the Mattcast, I like to finish it off with started off with the what we've been watching and stuff, and a little postulating on that, and then I like to go into the news. A lot of people ask, like, where's the fedora? Where's the fedora? Wintertime, you get the beanie, the Allons-y beanie, my Doctor Who beanie, man. So that's what we got for wintertime. Nothing says Christmas like Doctor Who, but I guess we got to wait for next year for that. One thing that I did want to start off Mattcast with is this little story that I saw for a holiday spin. Holiday spin for you. Strippers are now the #1 donor of toys to Children's Hospital in Portland this year. They broke their own record. So I thought that was a nice little way to start it. A holiday toy drive in Portland is getting national attention for thinking way outside the box. Called Tatas for Toys, the event invites adults to donate new toys in exchange for consensual, respectful, topless photos. Okay. I guess they have to add that consensual word in there. Oh, here's Mary. Here's a picture of her tits. Does she know? No, she doesn't. But here's a picture. Yeah, it has to be like Mary has to know that, yeah, this is a picture of my tits. This is for you. Thank you for giving us a toy. That is not a bad exchange, I guess, for a good cause. What started as a cheeky idea quickly turned into a serious community effort. Of course, it does not take long for a man to get behind an idea like that, okay? See how quickly I turned over on it? A very, very easy idea to get behind. With long lines of donors, I bet they did, and volunteers all focused on one thing, helping kids who, yeah, that's what they're focused on. That's why they're there. Helping kids, wink, wink, who might otherwise go without during the holidays. That's exactly why they're going for the topless photos. I mean, the kids, it has to. Organizers say the mission has always been about charity, not shock value. Everyone sets their own boundaries. The space is carefully managed, and every toy goes straight to local families and organizations. In the past years, thousands of toys have been collected. It's a reminder that when consent, community, and a clear goal come together, even unconventional ideas can do real good. So that was the first story I have for you guys, because I just thought that was really fucking clever. Tatas for toys. Get your consensual, respectful, topless photo. You know, nothing like nothing like that. You're not getting that. No. Just a nice, tasteful, topless photo. One you could show your grandma. Tasteful. Tasteful. About as tasteful as this next story. So, I got another Christmas story for you. This one, a little bit more serious, but this one is Christmas as we know it. Family gatherings, festive generosity, even saying Merry Christmas is largely the result of one man. Charles Dickens. A Christmas Carol, of course. Before 1843, Christmas was associated with countryside peasant revelry and disconnected from stressful modern city life. So by the early 19th century, Christmas in Britain had lost much of its shared national character. Industrialization had reshaped daily life, especially in cities, where long working hours and overcrowding left little space for seasonal celebration. Christmas survived mainly as a rural tradition associated with countryside feasts, folk customs, and occasional revelry amongst agricultural communities. In growing industry cities, December 25th was often treated as an ordinary workday, and the holiday had little connection to family life, charity, or urban social responsibility. This context shaped the impact of A Christmas Carol, published by Charles Dickens in December of 1843. Dickens set his story firmly in the modern city, not in a pastoral village. London streets, offices, and homes became the stage for a holiday centered on domestic warmth, shared meals, and moral obligation towards the poor. The novella emphasized family gatherings, generosity, goodwill between social classes, and the emotional power of simple traditions. The repeated use of greeting Merry Christmas helped revive a phrase that had fallen into relative disuse. The book's popularity was immediate and widespread. It sold out quickly, was read aloud in homes and public spaces, and reached audiences across social classes. That's because they couldn't read. A lot of, especially social classes, people at the bottom, they couldn't read. So they would pay people to read them this book. You're watching me read this social media post to you. They paid like a fucking halfpenny for that back in the day. You're getting this for pretty cheap, just the electricity that it costs to, charge up the old device. But its vision of Christmas offered a cultural solution to the stresses of urban life, presenting the holiday as a pause from industrial hardship rather than an escape into rural nostalgia. So you got that going for you. That's how we got Christmas. Literally, it became more popular. And then, of course, the thing that always goes around here on Christmas is that Coca-Cola is the reason why Santa Claus is red. He was green before Coca-Cola did their press. That's how impressive marketing is, people. You know what I mean? It was green, and then he had I think a red cap. Coca-Cola, boom, slap him with all red, and that's all anybody remembers Santa Claus as. So, Santa Claus can be whatever color you want him to be, I guess is my point. But let's see what my point is for this next story. So, switching the gears out of the Christmas mood, for a second here, getting back into the normal top stories for the end of the year here. I got roller coasters were invented to distract Americans from sin. In the 1800s, hosiery businessman Lamarcus Thompson disliked that people flocked to saloons and brothels, so he created the first roller coaster at Coney Island to draw them somewhere else instead. In the late 1800s, man, shit was popping off in the late 1800s, this podcast. So in the late 1800s, American cities were changing fast, and leisure time worried a lot of moral reforms. Churches complained that workers spent their evenings in saloons and brothels. places seen as dangerous distractions from family and faith. Oh, yeah, that's where the faith just titties. Yeah, once again, titties get the man's eye. Doesn't matter what your church says. They'll say, oh, Lord, forgive me. I've looked at titties again. Priest is like, I know, right? So, ask your God for forgiveness. But some believed the solution was not punishment, but diversion. LaMarcus Thompson, a hosiery businessman with strong moral views, thought excitement itself could be redirected. In 1884, he built what was called the Gravity Pleasure Switchback Railway. What a fucking name. Let me read that again for you guys in case you wanted to get that. The Gravity Pleasure Switchback Railway. Because it's on rails, roller coaster, at Coney Island. It was simple by modern standards, but thrilling enough to draw crowds. Thompson openly promoted his ride as a wholesome alternative, something exciting that kept people away from vice-filled streets. The idea worked. Roller coasters became widely popular and amusement parks followed. What began as a moral entertainment turned into a massive entertainment industry. Roller coasters were not just about thrills. They were designed to reshape how people spent their free time, and they did it better than anyone expected. I mean, they're not at brothels if you're going to be on a roller coaster. I can't tell you. That's a little bit fast for a brothel. You're not going to find many brothel roller coasters. So I'd say the idea worked. I almost. I know, though. Brothel roller coaster. I think we got something there. I think we got something to pitch.
I don't know if you can patent the idea, but let's find some participants.
We'll put it out there. Just, keep your eyes on social media for that brothel roller coaster, the Perjangers and Wallhangers brothel roller coaster. It could happen. It could happen. A lot like this next story could happen. Being a baby girl is always, part of Mattcast in the underlying factors. But you know why I always bring that up? Because we're going back to the motherland on this one. Romania is building a $1 billion Dracula theme park. I don't know what took them so long to get to this idea. First lady was just telling me, apparently they found somebody dead around a castle in Transylvania. So you guys needed this for a long time. I'm not saying about time, but, it should already be built. Europe is geared up for a thrilling new destination with Dracula Land. Wow, they're really just beating you over the head right at the beginning there, even with the name Dracula Land. I got to tell you, though, it makes me want to go to Romania. It really does. I'm like, you know what? We can go back to the motherland for Dracula Land. A massive Dracula-themed resort under development near Bucharest, of all places. Mr. Bucarel. Bucharest. I know we're a tiny little podcast, but how awesome would that be to be, invited to the opening of Dracula theme park? And it's the Bucarel's brothers just cutting the fucking ribbon. We'd like to speak on behalf of Uncle Vlad. We call him Uncle Vlad. But it's in Bucharest, Romania, announced in early December 2025 as part of a $1 billion private investment project. The park features 6 immense themed lands and over 40 attractions, including Gothic castles, dark rides, and roller coasters inspired by Transylvania legends, Bram Stoker novels, and European folklore. Which, if you guys haven't looked into European folklore, that's some terrifying shit. They have spooky stories that tell your children. I mean, not that Disney shit. They got some real shit. The full resort serves as a multi-day getaway, complete with themed hotels offering around 1,200 rooms, a large aqua park and thermal spa, a multifunctional entertainment area, a luxury shopping district, and more, aiming for an open as early as 2027. So you definitely got that option out there. I mean, it looks like 1,200 rooms, large, water park, thermal spa, whatever the hell that is. It's probably like a, yeah, hot spring. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but yeah, it's a hot spring, and then you got a water park, and then you got your 40, different attractions, roller coasters inspired by Transylvania legends and Bram Stoker. So you'll have definitely a Dracula roller coaster, some other European folklore. So you got like, Wolfman and other fucking theme park. It's going to be like a Halloween theme park is what it's going to be. A bunch of fucking, vampires walking around. Somebody's going to be dressed like Uncle Vlad. I hope they have like the dickhead helmet he wore too. Oh, yeah. 24/7 playing the Monster Mash throughout the theme park. I'm telling you, that's what we got to do for that. Fantastic idea. Fantastic idea. I really don't know how it took them this long to think of this. This is a brilliant idea. Dracula Land. That's exactly what you do. That's how you get people to want to go to Romania. I mean, it's a poor farming country. There's like nothing there besides, the other side. Whoo, a lot of shit going on over there. But a lot of other shit going on in this next story over here. All right. So a universal vaccine to treat all cancers is now entering human trials. We had something old, something current, now into something new. Yeah, I mean, but they're just doing them all of them. A revolutionary step in medical science has been taken with the announcement of a universal vaccine to treat all cancers, now entering human trials. This is a monumental development, one that could reshape the way we approach cancer treatment. For decades, the world has battled to find a comprehensive solution, and now we are standing on the brink of that breakthrough. The potential implication of this vaccine go beyond just treatment. It may fundamentally alter the trajectory of how we understand cancer and its prevention. The discovery represents a leap in science, but also a reminder that the journey the journey to solutions is often long and full of challenges. What begins as a theory can become reality with persistence and innovation. In science, as in all investigations, sometimes the most improbable leads can yield extraordinary results. The promise of this vaccine may prove to be one of those defining moments in history. So,
did they mention a journal?
They don't mention a journal.
There's no journal
There's no journal mentioned,
mentioned?
but it's in human trials. So if we don't see any other mention of all cancer, vaccine treatment, we know what happened. It's in the bottom of the Pentagon. It's in a sub basement. All you got to do is feed and water that thing and walk the other way and just turn and forget about it. But if it doesn't go I Am Legend, this may be like, oh, you got cancer? No, you just go down to the clinic. They just give you a shot. That's it. I mean, let's see what RFK has to say about it. But I think that's a pretty rad little thing that they're working on. But I can't talk about something new without going in the Wayback Machine and letting you know what I found out in this next story. I took a picture of this one because it's like this weird cord thing and like a ball with a Neanderthal face, because this next story is 50,000-year-old Neanderthal tool with plant fibers show that they mastered cordage, material science, and early mathematics. It's always a common thing that they think like these ancestors that we have, like Neanderthals, Homo naledi, Homo florensis, and early Homo sapiens, that these guys were just like knuckle dragging morons. You know what I mean? So I love to point out these stories. In France, archaeologists have uncovered a remarkable Neanderthal artifact dating back 50,000 years that challenges long-held ideas about human evolution. This discovery consists of a piece of flint still wrapped with carefully twisted plant fibers, offering clear evidence that Neanderthals were producing cordage, a sophisticated technology requiring precise understanding of materials and structure. This insight shows that they were capable of advanced craftsmanship far earlier than previously believed. Creating rope from plant fiber is no simple task. It requires knowledge of tension, sequencing, and how multiple strands combine to form a stronger whole. This process demonstrates that Neanderthals engaged in a form of practical mathematics, applying logical reasoning, and planning to their work. The artifacts reveal that they were not only skilled tool makers, but also understood principles of engineering, material behavior, and functional design. This discovery overturns outdated notion that Neanderthals were primitive or incapable of abstract thought. Instead, it highlights their creativity, adaptability, and capacity for innovation. By producing composite tools that combine stone and organic fibers, Neanderthals display a higher level of sophistication comparable to early Homo sapiens, showing that we were fully capable of complex problem solving and innovative solutions. Beyond its technical significance, the tool provides a glimpse into daily Neanderthal life. Cordage would have had countless uses, from binding weapons to shelters to creating clothing or carrying loads. Each twist of a fiber, every careful attachment to the flint reveals methodical approach, emphasizing thoughtfulness, planning, and the application of learned knowledge. Strange facts and analysis of the fibers suggest that Neanderthals may have selected specific plant types for strength and flexibility, indicating they not only experimented with natural materials, but also developed an early form of material science to achieve desired results. They knew what kind of plants to get the strongest cord they could. So what do you use a rope for? That's what they used it for. Simple problem solving, making houses, clothes. These guys knew how to weave, because what else do you have to do? They had fat rendering areas, so they knew how to break down fat into and preserve food. They knew how to do all this kind of basic level stuff. Neanderthals were around for 300,000 years and crossbred with Homo sapiens. So who knows how much of the knowledge was passed down from Neanderthals, not just their DNA, but what kind of processes and things that we do, especially when you look at like Inuit cultures and, any kind of Indian cultures that have that generational processes to do things. Where did they learn it? From the ancestry. What can we tie back there? That's that kind of thing that you probably never know. But it's always interesting when you find stuff like this. This is 50,000 years ago in France, of all places. Neanderthal, just using some rope. I'm going to pick this fiber, make this. Look, this is how you make rope. Boom. Now you wrap it around there. You do this in the land and, setting up traps and shit. Hunter-gathering. Those guys, I don't know if you guys have ever watched White Life Below, but they simple hunter-gatherers. Watch that show. Those guys are fucking not simple. They got a process, bud. So that, always loved that kind of story. But let's get into something more fun with this next one. That's a nice little factoid. Just like this is a nice little factoid. Some guy scubaed up to a Disney restaurant, robbed it, and then scubaed away. Some guy scubaed up to a Disney restaurant and then robbed it and then scubaed right back away. In one of the oddest crimes in recent memory, a restaurant in Florida, Disney Springs, claims that a dude in scuba gear swam up, robbed the place, then swam away. Local outfit of WFTV 9 previously reported that the man swam up after the restaurant closed, then took off his wetsuit and told the employees to stand in the corner of the room before tying them up. After that, he took between $10,000 to $20,000, put his wetsuit back on, and swam away. He wasn't armed. He wasn't armed. He wasn't armed. Okay. Wow, that's fucking confusing. Police haven't.
He just asked them politely for the money,
Hey,
and they gave it to him.
Can you get in the corner?
Is that even?
Thank you. I'm just gonna tie you up now.
That would be robbery and not.
I got to tell you, as far as robberies go, you guys are so polite. You're making this so easy. Thank you guys so much. All right, where's the money? In the register? All right, I'll just take that. What's the code? Oh, thank you so much. Was this like the most polite robbery ever? Like, I mean, he wasn't armed. Well, did anybody try saying no? Like, hey, can I have all the money? No. Okay. Did you just like get in the corner? Okay. Oh, I don't know. Why are we listening to him? He told us to get in the corner. I don't know. Police have an image of the man. He was caught on camera while trying to spray paint over it, but apart from his look, they don't have a lot of leads. So if you're in Florida and you see a scuba diver swimming toward your boat, watch out. I don't think he's still in the water. I mean, I know that's kind of like a cheeky thing for their article here, but yeah, I hope he's still not in the water because that would be weird. That would be really weird. But no, this next story isn't weird, so I can't go and use that as a segue. But here's the next story. According to a 25-year study, brie, cheddar, and other high-fat cheeses and creams can significantly lower the risk of dementia. Here's why. A 25-year study suggests brie, cheddar, and other high-fat cheeses and creams may lower the risk of dementia is generated interest. These dairy foods are rich in fats that support brain structure. The brain is largely made of fat and certain saturated fats. Help maintaining the integrity of nerve cell membranes, supporting efficient communication between neurons. High-fat cheeses also contain vitamin K2, calcium, and bioactive peptides that help protect blood vessels and reduce inflammation. Healthy blood flow is essential for developing oxygen and nutrients in the brain over time. There is also fermentation factor. Many aged cheese contain compounds formed during fermentation that support the gut microbiome. A healthier gut influence try that again. A healthier gut influences brain health through the gut-brain connection, which plays a role in cognitive resilience. Another possible explanation of the dietary context, people who consume full-fat dairy often eat fewer refined carbohydrates. More stable blood sugar and reduced insulin spikes are linked to better long-term brain health. It does not mean unlimited cheese is the cure. The benefit I don't feel attacked when they say that, okay? I don't feel attacked. I just know that that's not what they mean. Yeah. Brie. I mean, but cheddar's great. Cheddar and other high-fat cheeses. You just got to check the fat content. If there's a lot of fat, just shove it in your fucking face, I'm preventing dementia. I don't think that's what they meant. Yeah, cheddar. Cheddar's always better. Isn't that the saying? The benefit appears tied to moderation and overall diet quality. Still, These findings challenge old assumptions and suggest that certain traditional foods may quietly support cognitive health as we age. So cheddar is better, but check for other high-fat cheeses and creams to try adding into your diet to significantly lower those dementia results. And, of course, cheese is the shit. So you can't go wrong with some cheese. But that's the last story I have for us today. I will say I did see this is 10 days to go before My Hero Academia Vigilante Season 2 comes out, so I'll definitely have a review for that next Mattcast I do. You'll see maybe some Matt plays coming out there at you, as well as in the next year, our documentary, Lug Nuts Podcast, Delco or Bust, coming in 2026. A lot of stuff coming out there, Perjangers and Wallhangers, a lot of plans in the works that we have for you guys. So I want you guys to stay tuned and check in on us in the new year. And as well as always, remember to game on and drive on, boys and girls. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Getting ready in the end credits. Getting over a sickness. First lady says we got the flu, so we're getting over that. But benefit of the flu is the deep voice. You know what I mean? It's one of the best parts about wintertime. Oh, best part of wintertime. Heat, working heat, and the winter deep voice.
Bye.